Well, yeah.
He's right. Why is it up to one YouTube guy to make content off of this, which will generate money, to do that?
Did you ever have a moment of doubt about capitalism?
Well, first of all, tell me, is there some society you know that doesn't run on greed?
I'm seeing people rag on Hassan Piker because he expressed some disdain over the circumstance around
I'm going to assume he's going to play the video, which would be incorrect. Okay, fine. I will play the video then. Yeah, this is what I want. Okay. Okay, so here's the context. You know, let's here's Hassan's original you know, whole spiel.
You watch the video, you go, oh, how cute and how nice. I watched the video and I'm filled with rage.
We'll go up here. We'll block his chat. It's fine. He'll be okay. He would want this.
Procedure because we paywalled it and decided that like some people just simply can't get it. It is so insane.
Yeah, bro. Like, he's not wrong about this. Like, fucking not being blind is like, fucking, you know, you gotta pay your like 24,000 like fucking COD points. Like,
that it's up to like one YouTube guy to like decide to make content out of it that like that people who are too poor can't just fucking see. That's insane. Anyway, sorry. It's just like a deeply frustrating concept.
There were also people being really stupid on Twitter, which is to say there are people on Twitter about this topic. Like, it's kind of self-evident.
You watch the video, you go, oh, how...
Oh, was that the entire video? Was that really the... Oh, yeah, it's only like 45 seconds. Okay, so pretty reasonable. I mean, I don't really think you could, like, argue that. I don't really think you could argue that that he's right in this case. But, anyway.
Mr. Beast and curing blindness and all that stuff. So I'll give you the quick gist, and then I want to show you what Hassan had to say. Because I somewhat agree with Hassan on this one, and I think it's something we definitely...
Amazing.
CNN reports YouTube star Mr. Beast helps 1,000 blind people see again by sponsoring cataract surgeries. Dude, that's awesome. I'm a big Mr. Beast fan. I have my criticisms of him. What I don't like is he's done these things where he really treats this money so trivially in such a way that it's somewhat condescending to people who don't have access to this. Not a big fan of that, but he does a bunch of really good things. So,
I mean, let's be honest. Like, from like a societal like standpoint, I don't really care what Mr. Beast spends his money on, right? Like, Tim Pool's making like a critique of like, oh, well, he kind of spends it frivolously and he doesn't, you know, he kind of like does, you know, he just kind of spends money and does dumb shit. That's perfectly fine. I got no problem. If you make money, see, this is the thing. There's like the meme, there's the consistent meme of like socialism is when like you don't have money. That's not the, what's the word? That's not the argument for socialism as a fundamentally better system. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. When we talk about socialism, we talk about gearing the economy toward the betterment of as many people as possible, not toward wealth accumulation. But in no way, as long as you are paying taxes, as long as you are paying into the system that has afforded you this much wealth, as long as you're doing that very simple step, then I don't care what you do with your money. Buy fucking 10 Bugattis. I don't care. As long as you're not fucking raping women and fucking like hoarding your tax dollars so that young kids in like your local city or whatever get like shitty school supplies that teachers have to fucking fund. Like, that's the thing. It doesn't like, it's fine. Like, you can be fucking rich under socialism. You can be rich. I got no problem with people being rich. What I have a problem with is when the system allows these people to be rich at the expense of everybody else. You know, when everybody else is left behind, that's where the critique comes in.
It's like, I don't like the stuff where it's like, oh, you want $10,000 to like get your daughter's, you know, surgery? Well, then you got to stand on one foot and hoot like a chimp, you know. It didn't
That's gross. That would be gross.
I find so much of it just bleh, when it's like you gotta sit in the.
It is not my
store,
favorite thing either.
and then you can get money, and I'm just kind of like, this whole idea is poor people. So it's like, dude, the dude did a Squid Games parody, but like
Yeah, that's like the picture.
Is like in a similar space. But that's my criticism. I think Mr. Beast does a lot of awesome stuff. I think the idea of tipping people tons of money and making content off it is awesome. So Mr. Beast, not positive. I'm not trying to rag on the guy. I'm just saying, like, he's not perfect. Check this out.
I mean, nobody is,
We'll
but
read a little bit more about the cataract surgery stuff. Actually, I should read
let's
this
turn
so you
Tim
can
up a little
understand the
bit.
context before
Wait,
showing
is
you
this
what
all the
Hassan
way up?
Piker said.
This isn't all the way up.
YouTube star Mr. Beast
do
is
this.
making the world clearer for 1,000 people. The content
1,000.
creator's latest stunt is paying for cataract.
Realize understand, there are more than 1,000 people who are blind in the United States. There's more than 1,000 people. Like, okay, 1,000 people. What is that? Like what? Like what is it? Percentage? Or no. Number of typing with one hand. Here we go. Jesus Christ. Fucking 1.3 million Americans are legally blind. Now, granted, that's like okay, let's see. 4 out of every 10,000. Like, yeah, I'm happy for these individual people, but like, we can, as a society, we can do better.
Removal for 1,000 people who are blind or near blind but could not afford the surgery. We're curing 1,000 people's blindness, said Mr. Beast. The video features touching before and after footage of patients seeing with clear vision after finishing the surgery. I think it's got like 50
honestly,
million views,
monetizing like charitable actions like this feels gross. It's like good, but it just like, I think we all understand that it feels gross. It feels like you're trying to like
surgeon, worked with Donald
pay your way into
Florida. Levinson has coordinated the Gift of Sight program for 20 years, which provides free cataract surgery for uninsured patients who are legally
positive
blind
public
due to
opinion
cataracts.
of you.
Levinson got a call from a member of Donaldson's team. That's Mr. Beast, by the way. His name is Jimmy Donaldson.
Jimmy.
In September, I had never heard of Mr. Beast, so I almost hung up, but I gratefully did not hang up. They started by calling homeless shelters and free clinics to create a list of patients in the Jacksonville area who needed cataract surgery but could not afford it. Eventually, they had a group of 40
Tim,
patients,
you're
and
going too
Levinson
slow,
performed all of their
There we
surgeries
go.
in a single day, starting at 7 a.m. and ending at 6 p.m. That's amazing. All right, let's poll up this year. Hassan Piker.
Oh, now you should. Fine, whatever.
You watch the video, you go, oh, how cute and how nice. I watched the video and I'm filled with rage.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
That we shut off access to a 10-minute procedure because we paywalled it and decided that
Yeah,
like,
it's
some
like
people
not
just simply
about
can't get it.
It's
It
not
is so
about
insanely frustrating.
it's not
that
about
it, like,
this.
it's up to like one YouTube guy to like decide to make content out of it that like is that people who are too poor can't just fucking see. That's insane. Anyway, sorry. It's just like a deeply frustrating.
It's like how like have you ever heard people like do like the why doesn't Batman just like invest in public infrastructure? And like why doesn't Bruce Wayne just invest in public infrastructure? And what's it called? And internal investigations into the obvious police corruption in Gotham City. Oh, and also shouldn't he be funding more social safety nets and homeless shelters, drug rehabilitation shelters, and safe safe injection zones? Like, why doesn't he just do that? Which the answer to why those things don't happen is it's a comic book and it's a movie. It would be rather boring if that's what he did. But Hassan's making the point here that like this is the real world. Like, we don't need to have one guy fucking vigilante his way through the United States, state by state, curing fucking blindness like rich Jesus. We could just have, this could just be something that you go to the DMV, they deem you legally blind, and then they tell you go to your local eye exam guy and go get your fucking eyes fixed. And then come back, do the sight test, Boom. Now you're a 100% functioning member of society. Like just the ROI on that would be like incredible. Like you would offer people the ability to enter the workforce at such a higher rate doing that. Like there's no solid argument why the government shouldn't just be doing this for people.
Frustrating concept.
He's right. He's not ragging on Mr. Beast. Dextero says Twitch streamer Hassan explained why he's filled with rage from watching Mr. Beast's newest video where he cures 1,000 people's blindness.
Well, yeah.
He's right. Why is it up to one YouTube guy to make content off of this, which will generate money, to do that? It's mind-blowing to me. And a lot of people are ragging on Hassan like, they're like, oh, he should be mad about this. Mr.
Oh
Beast
my
did a good
God.
thing. He's not ragging on Mr. Beast. He's saying, why is it up to him? Why? Now, I don't completely agree with Hassan's politics on this one. You know,
Fucking Tim Cool over here.
he says we cut off access to that. I don't view it that way, but I view it like this. I'm watching
What's the difference?
so much of our money as American citizens be thrown all over the world for
Like,
gender stuff.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
Programs for bombs in the Middle East. And I'm saying to myself,
Those two things
what
are very
can we do
different.
with $100 billion.
I love how he. First of all, I love the idea that Tim Pool is out here being like, the problem is my taxpayer dollars are going towards underfunded public schools that teach gender studies, and then overfunding the United States military industrial complex. Like, Tim, you could like fucking double. You could double the amount of gender studies courses in all like state schools tomorrow, and then reduce the military budget by like 25%. And guess what? You'd probably have the money to cure blindness in the United States. Like, this is a priorities thing. It's like what your society prioritizes. And, you know, curing blindness, which would be a common good of the people, isn't one of those things right now, and it should be. Do you think like the military, selling weapons to Ukraine, that's one thing, but just throwing money at the Iraq War, Afghanistan, and everything else that we did for the last 10 years, we could have cured blindness in that amount of time. But there's the word we got.
Dollars that we wasted in Ukraine. Now, I know I can hear look, I got Ukrainian friends, and they don't like to hear me say stuff like that because they're like,
well, yeah,
we don't want to die. We don't lose our country.
Well, yeah.
And I say, my guys,
Tim Pool complains every day about white people losing their country and about conservatives losing their country because they lost fairly in elections. Meanwhile, fucking Ukrainians are like fucking fighting off Russian invaders, and Tim's like, I mean, look, I'm fighting a war in my country, you're fighting a war in your country, but it's my money. I want my money going toward the war in my country. And like, his Ukrainian friends probably look at him and just like stare, just blank stare, like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
We're not you. I'm sorry. We're supposed to have your back. That I get. There's a treaty. If they give up their nukes, we come to their defense. NATO. And I'm just frustrated that the U.S. is involving itself in so much of this overseas...
Why don't we cure blindness and cure Ukraine of the Russians?
And this one could even wipe out the planet. If Russia says it's a border country, we will not back down. We've known that they wanted a land bridge for 10 years. The Hunter Biden laptop reveals that they knew about it for a long time. It's a long time coming. Gee golly. Everything seemed to stop in this conflict the moment that Donald Trump got elected. But here's what I see. I don't think...
Wait, what? Is he wait? Is he saying that Russia didn't want Ukraine when Trump was in power? They've wanted it since like the 90s, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? Okay.
Cutting off people necessarily. Like, if we started from baseline, if we were just, we're not involved in this war, we're not spending money, and you get some frugal government that's like,
why are we talking about Ukraine right now?
We're not going to spend money on cataract surgeries if people can't afford it. I'm sorry, we just don't do that. We can't afford it. I'd be like, well, who am I to tell my fellow countrymen to give their hard-earned dollars, through the process of inflation or however the U.S. is doing it with the Federal Reserve, but just to give their buying power and their value to strangers, not to me. You give your money as you see fit. I'm not the, I don't, I'm not 100% on board with taxation as theft, but I'm, pretty much not a fan of.
So this is the thing. Like, I've heard people say, like, taxation is theft. Taxation is not theft. Taxation is you buying in, is your skin in the game. Taxation is you, like, when everyone comes together in, like, in like the Avengers, or like your local soccer team, they all put their hands in the middle. They do like 1, 2, 3. We're gonna fucking dab on the other team. Like that's what taxes is. You're buying in to the society on a monetary level, because that's kind of how you do this. Like you buy in, you become part of the U.S. through your tax dollars going towards things that are supposed to be helping you. And you elect representatives to represent your interests. Now, that system is fundamentally broken in the United States, but it hasn't always been like that. The system in the United States was not like this, 100 years ago? 200 years ago? Like, the system has been captured. Our public infrastructure has been captured by private interests. But that doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that the public good, the public funds, the public buy-in to us as a society is to blame for that. The blame for that falls squarely on the private capture of our government. Like, fun fact, I don't know if you know this, but corporations like weak government, because government's the only thing that's going to challenge their monetary gavel, basically. Their monetary what's the big hammer, mallet. So, like, this is why.
Of where we've gone as a country and how extreme everything is in terms of the amount of money they take from people and what they do with it. And it's mainly because they're blowing up kids.
We don't.
This way. Okay.
Taxes aren't that crazy. I pay taxes.
They're busted up, lead, Legionnaire's disease, dirty water. You got the pipes in a bunch of different towns that are like that. Newark was bad. And then you come to me and say, look, here's my pitch as the U.S. government. We can fix pipes, get these kids clean drinking water.
Sure.
Make America great again.
If only Republicans voted for it. Like, I'm sorry, but like, did Build Back Better not have all this infrastructure shit? And then Republicans bitched and moaned that, a lot of this stuff isn't infrastructure. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Your side doesn't want to fix these problems.
Fix our streets, secure our borders, bring back jobs, reinvest in a New Deal type program. This is why before they announced the Green New Deal,
that's why Bernie's
the idea, I was like,
excited.
You're telling me we can work towards energy independence and invest in jobs in this country? I'm like, okay, I'm down for this. Let's see.
Yep.
And then, of course, it was this woke nonsense about free college for people of color and other stuff. And I'm like, that's not, get out of here.
Wait, no, it was free college for everybody. I hate to break it to you, Tim, but the Green New Deal does not advocate for free college for only the blacks and only the darkies. It was free college for everybody, which, would mean that if you're black or if you're brown or any race, you also got free college. So, whoa, there we go.
But Hassan's angry. It was 10 minutes to fix the eyes of these people with cataract surgery. And instead of spending, how much did he spend on this? He didn't spend 1,000 people. It's probably $1 million. Might have been 10 million.
1 mil. That's not even a lot, really.
$100 billion on foreign wars in countries we have no business being involved.
Not only that, but don't you think the collective bargaining of fixing everybody's eyesight would necessarily drive down the price? See, that's also the case. If you're the government saying, "Hey, we want to fix everybody's eyesight, but we want a discount for buying in bulk," like, then you actually end up saving money per surgery. This is essentially how government insured healthcare would work.
Involved in. That pisses me off. So when Hassan gets mad and he's like, we've cut these people off from this, I'm like, look, I don't know what Hassan's position is on funding war in Ukraine. I'm not a fan of Russia. I think Vladimir Putin's the bad guy.
Isn't Hassan's
the country and got their families out.
Isn't Hassan like anti-Ukraine war?
I think the answer to this is we don't do business with you.
Or Ukraine funding,
I should say. No, thank you. The problem is we got ourselves involved in this war. Europe is dependent upon their energy. And so we're in a bind. I get it. It's complicated. But what if we took $10 billion and just paid for people's cataract surgery? That's right. That's what makes me angry. And that's why I'm like, why are you yelling at Hassan? This government is wasting your money. You've got Hunter and Joe
Got a
Biden doing
pineapple
energy
in my,
deals, sending natural gas from Louisiana to China.
Right.
Why aren't we investing in our people?
Fun fact, because that's a private corporation. They choose who they sell their oil to. This is what happens when the people don't own the natural resources that they live basically on top of.
Why aren't we dealing with our border crisis? Why aren't we dealing with jobs in the economy? Why
All of this,
are we spending
like
so much?
the really reductive answer to this is
And I'll shout out
capitalism.
the old omnibus bills from the previous
It's
Congress.
like
$12
very.
million for gender studies.
It's rather clear.
$12 million and cure some people's blindness. I would prefer to see
Why not
that
gender
money from
studies
gender
and
studies or whatever
blindness?
else in foreign aid be given to homeless and desperate Americans who need cataract surgery. I don't know if Hassan agrees with
What
me.
about housing? Why don't we give them housing too? Let's give them eyes and let's give them housing. Fucking let's just buy let's buy them new eyes. Can we let's buy them fucking cyberware eyes. Fucking deck these motherfuckers out in cyberware.
Maybe he's pro-war in Ukraine or whatever. But I'm just saying, on the surface, when he comes out and says it fills me with rage, that it's up to some YouTube guy to make content to do this, and I'm like, preach, brother.
Amazing.
Why do we have to hope that some guy on YouTube is going to be the one to help these people? Why is it that we can count on the U.S. government giving multi-billion-dollar contracts to big pharma, but they won't spend a pittance on just helping people see?
Because
I'm not saying
privatized
universal
health
healthcare is free. I don't know
insurance.
that it is. Maybe some universal.
What? What the? Okay. Tim, why don't we just? Why can't the government do this? But it can't be universal health care. Tim, have you ever been to Canada? Like,
coverage, I think, can. When there's a treatment like this, it takes 10 minutes to cure someone's blindness. Yeah, maybe we should have universal basic coverage. But if you have a complicated illness that requires
so universal health care then. Universal health care, but only for the eyes. Got it.
lifelong treatment, and that's really expensive on the system, maybe we can't afford it. Maybe that's where private supplemental comes in. I don't have all the answers. All I
We
know
already
is,
know
as
it.
long as
Wait,
you're coming
you
out
already
and
answered the
dumping
question.
$100
We can
billion on
afford
war,
it.
I'm going to come back
We're
and say, you give that to
dumping
me, and I'm
$100
gonna go
billion
cure a bunch of blind people's
into
eyes. I'm gonna
military
build
spending.
Bridges. I'm going to build roads. I'm going to create jobs and
If
construction.
only Republicans did
We
this
don't do that.
in the 4 years
And
they
that's
were
what
in
we do.
charge.
So, yeah. I'm not
If
gonna rag on
only they
Hassan.
did
People
something
rag on him.
other
Get out
than
of here.
pass tax cuts,
I am filled
which
with rage.
cuts the
I'm grateful to Mr. Beast. This was awesome.
the what's it
It's a
called,
really
which
cool
cuts
thing
the
to do.
funding to
I've
any of
talked about
those
it for a while.
infrastructure
Here's the marketing
programs.
strategy. Go to a big company, and Mr. Beast should do this and say,
Right.
give me your marketing budget.
Right.
Mr. Beast, legit pitch. I hope he does this.
Uh-huh.
Go to any big Fortune 500 and say, what's your marketing budget this month? And when
Okay.
they're like 50 million, say, okay, you give me that $50 million, I will give you 100-fold return on what you'd normally get. And then you know what you do? You build a bunch of sustainable housing in low-income neighborhoods. You then buy.
Or, the government could just do the exact same thing with even more funding. And it's not like they can just award somebody, hey, build me good, affordable housing, do it at a discount, and you get a fuck ton of money. Like, what we're talking about is just collective bargaining and collective, purchasing, basically. Like, fuck spending $50 million on marketing. You know what's good marketing? Having the U.S. government have you sponsor an entire neighborhood that you've now built at what would be a loss, but if the government is going to pay you for all of that, pay you per house, then you've you can solve this. You can easily solve this without one rich guy doing it. Just leverage the entire U.S. economy's tax dollars. And then they'll say, oh, but we can't afford that. Then you go, okay, just raise taxes then. Raise it on the people who don't need as much of their income because they're already making well above what is necessary to sustain themselves.
These properties and create sustainable situations. Now, hold on. I know you can't just put homeless people in houses. I'm saying.
Oh, yeah,
pay off
actually
some
you can.
people's medical debt.
Mm-hmm.
Give people life-changing surgery. Save a child who needs a heart.
So universal health care.
If we turned marketing into a do-good competition.
Oh my God, I hate this.
I've long talked about how I would love that. Imagine, you got Coca-Cola, and they're like, in order to market effectively, we decided to follow in Mr. Beast's footsteps.
Wait, isn't this just the same? Wait a minute. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't what Tim is talking about essentially just like what woke, in his words, it would be woke virtue signaling. Isn't that all he's arguing for? Is that, hey, we should have more of these companies try to virtue signal that they're the most good for society? Like, okay, has that worked out? Does Coke not already do that? Does Pepsi not already do that? This is already part of our system. This is already baked into the system. Like what's the change? Companies already use their massive marketing budgets to trick you into thinking that they have your best interest at heart. But they don't, do they? What Tim is arguing is instead of spending $50 million to trick you into thinking your company is changing the world for the better, he wants these companies to invest real world dollars, which is an actual cost, probably more than 50 million on a marketing budget, to actually make things better. Like, it wouldn't matter. They'd be like, wait, I could spend 50 million and trick everybody and save money on the production of my products. Or B, you want me to spend more on the products, still have to spend money on marketing to convince people that these products are better for them, because you still have to market that way. This would fall apart immediately. This is the brain of somebody who thinks, like, who has fucking Twitter brain. Like, oh yeah, dude, you just like put out an ad. Do you know how much ad space costs? Do you know how much it takes to even like make ads to begin with? Like, there's entire marketing departments. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, this wouldn't work. We already do this.
Steps and use our $50 million marketing budget this month. I don't know if it's 50 million, but I imagine it's something massive like that, to do as much good as possible. So we hired cleanup crews to go.
Why don't they just do that now?
Chicago South Side and start cleaning up trash, filling potholes.
Because if there's not a return on that investment, they have no interest in it.
Whoa. You think you're going to upstage us? We're going to take our marketing budget, throw 10 million on top, and then we're going to go repair, these broken pipes.
This is like,
fix the water. Imagine if Pepsi.
This is like, oh, yeah? Imagine living in a world where you think like these corporations are altruistic and don't like do this sort of stuff specifically so that they can get away with like child slave labor outside of the US and shady business practices and like shady working conditions. Like, that's why. Like, you spend the 50 million because it's cheaper than like spending 100 million and doing something actually good. Like, the return on investment would have to be there, and there is none. Competition is still going to be the same. You're still going to be competing with the same businesses. You know who would win? The person who did the least amount of good, but complemented that with enough of a marketing budget that would outweigh that and get public support. Trusting these corporations, to be honest, is Tim's entire its concept falls apart.
Fix the pipes in Newark. The amount of attention that would be generated.
Why would they
be massive? Instead, they buy billboards with a smiling person drinking a soda.
Well, yeah, because that's cheaper.
I'm just maybe a little idealistic, but I'll leave it there. Shout out.
I wouldn't say idealistic, just really fucking stupid. Like, Tim, you've been covering news for how long, according to you, and you haven't like gotten the understanding of like, oh, actually, I should have known these corporations have no interest in like our values, which Tim should be aware of. Like, he just went through an entire episode of Daily Wire beefing with Crowder over putting the bottom line, putting the business, the business part of running these businesses above values. Coke has no interest. Coca-Cola has no interest in your working faucet. If they could, they would pay to have a pipe infitted in your home to dispense coke to you at any point that was like held at like a fucking like water treatment plant that they bought out a corner of it to have a Coca-Cola dispensary or distillery to send coke to millions of houses. If they could do that, they would do that. Coca-Cola is there to make money, not to be altruistic, not to do like nice things for the public. That's not what they're interested in. They're interested in making money. And you know what? Billboards cost a lot less than fixing the pipes in Newark, New Jersey. What are they going to do? What? The people of Newark, New Jersey are now going to never even glance at a Pepsi ever again because of what the wonderful Coca-Cola company did for them. Like, no, come on. It's fucking stupid. There's like naivety, and then there's just kind of being fucking dumb. Like I can't believe he went out there and really said that. But okay. But the thing that they tell, like at the end of all YouTube videos where they tell you to like click on one of these like things to watch more videos. Yeah, I've been meaning to film one of those. So that's what I was doing. I was just setting it up to film one.